Hello everyone, I'm Miss Cho, the English teacher of Class 3C and 6B. Today I'm going to share with you my use of the e-learning application Symbaloo. You may ask, what exactly is Symbaloo? Actually, Symbaloo is an e-learning app used in designing a learning path to promote student self-directed learning. As you can see from the screen, this is a typical learning path designed with the use of Symbaloo. As for the learning tasks, they are organized and sequenced into different stations in a learning path. Then, teachers can assign the learning path to their students. Students can use their mobile devices to click on the stations and finish the tasks set by the teacher. Students are also able to decide on their own pace in finishing the learning tasks. There's absolutely no rush. Now, I'm going to share with you my use of Symbaloo learning path on my Class 3C. The lesson that day was a reading lesson, and students were learning a new and challenging reading passage about voluntary work. In incorporating Symbaloo in my lesson, I added online resources to support students in reading. For example, I added the Butterfly Child video to provide visual aids for students who found it difficult to understand the challenging reading passage about the butterfly child. Besides, I also created tasks and reading questions to check students' understanding of the reading passage from time to time. As you can see, I used some multiple choice questions to check students' understanding when they were reading. As for the more challenging questions, such as the open-ended questions, which requires students to type their answers out, I also added hints to support them. Now, let's look at students' participation in a class using Symbaloo. Although Symbaloo learning path promotes students' self-directed learning, some students also discussed with their peers in solving the reading questions. Some students, however, tried to solve the questions on their own. Instead of the teacher explaining the entire challenging reading passage to the students, students were really trying to solve the reading questions and read on their own. This is self-learning in the classroom. At the end, I can manage students' learning progress by checking their marks in task completion. That was a challenging piece of reading, but some students still did really well. To sum up, the Symbaloo learning path can help students in their Paper 1 reading. Instead of asking students to finish comprehension exercises on a piece of paper, teachers can post the reading questions on the Symbaloo learning path and allow students to finish the reading exercises progressively. This learning path also engages students, as this is an e-learning application, and students are more willing to join. Besides, for weaker learners, learning path also allows learners autonomy, since learners can decide on their own pace in finishing the entire learning exercise. Teachers can also incorporate multimedia learning materials such as videos and some supporting websites to facilitate students' understanding and support students in learning when they are finishing a really challenging reading passage. Lastly, this e-learning application is easy to use as teachers can manage their students' learning progress by checking their completion of reading questions and the scores to check whether they have finished their learning successfully. This is the end of the introduction of Symbaloo. Thank you very much for listening.